Are you serious? Oh my God.
Time for the late season. Let's go, Ollie. Let's go. Andy late. Second push. Let's roll. Dylan and myself are heading out to North Dakota. We are starting our late season push out here. Kind of early this year, but Brennan and Aaron went out about 5 days ago, got some stuff set up for us, and then we're on our way out to kind of finish everything else up, and we're gonna try and get a few sits in. They're calling some pretty warm temperatures this week. Not really sure what to expect with that, but we have had some slammers on the cameras. A lot of it's nighttime, but with this second rut rolling around, we're kind of hoping that even though it's warm, if we get some does coming through, that we'll have some bucks hopefully checking them. We're here.
Live from the Dink.
Live from the Dink. Just rolled in. This is the fanciest beer ever drank in Dinkota. Compliments of Brennan. Let's go late season, homie. We just got done checking a few of the cameras that we don't have cell cams on. We did have a good shooter that I've kind of got my heart set on going after. This morning was daylight right at first light, so I think we're gonna try that tonight. Not really sure what to expect. It's supposed to get warm here this week. 151. It is our first sit of the late season here in North Dakota. My first sit of the entire season in North Dakota. We're sitting a spot we've had some pretty good luck in the past. We got 3 really good bucks on the cameras here. One in particular I got my eye on. He's a 6x5. We're hoping he comes back tonight. It's a low pressure night, it's warm. The cards aren't really in our favor, but from what we've seen in the past, if we get bucks on camera in the morning, a lot of times they're back in the afternoon, so we're gonna go off of kind of our intel and luck that we've had in the past, and hopefully it pays off tonight.
What is poppin'? Fat Joe is poppin'. So Mancl, I've been driving around all day doing spots, and Fat Joe came on earlier. We got a buck that we're calling Fat Joe over at the spot we call the Nest. And we're like, man, if we hear Fat Joe again before we go on to hunt, we should go sit and see if we can hunt Fat Joe. We have the right wind for it, but he hasn't been too regular. So we're actually on our way to another spot to go hunting. And there's shooters coming in there, but Fat Joe just came on the radio, so it's fate. We're going to sit and see if Fat Joe comes rolling into the Nest tonight.
Mike and I are in a spot that we call the Nest. There's a giant buck that showed up here that we're calling Fat Joe. It's just a beautiful 10-pointer, and it'd be awesome to put him down.
December 2nd here, North Dakota. Me and Dylan are just heading out this morning, set up a couple new spots for the east side boys. It's warm this morning. It's 31 degrees out right now, which very warm out here for this time of year. We got a few other things we gotta do for checking cameras and putting batteries in some of our cameras before we head out of here. Got a feeling we're gonna probably pull the plug on hunting out here for a week and a half. They're not calling like any real temp drops for a while here, no snow. So our best bet is to, instead of just wasting days out here, go home, get some work done, and then when it gets cold, we're gonna go hard in the paint.
What shift you make? Never good when you make it a mile down the road and things start moving. Oh, we're finally here, Dylan. We got 8-9 days ahead of us. Dylan and I will be the first ones out there. Brendan and Mike, they're going to join later towards the end of this weekend. Got a lot of spots. We're running cell cams this year, so we've got a pretty good idea of intel out there. A lot of good bucks. Just still waiting on that cold weather. Ooh, it's chilly. It's cold. We made it. What did it take, D? Look, your house at 2:30 ish. 10:30 ish now. About 8 hours. So I think we're gonna try and get this place warm, unpack, and maybe watch some hunting videos and have a few beers. It's about 12:30, I think. Got our chores done, checked a few spots, shot the bows, all dialed in and ready. Gonna eat a Jack's, relax here for about an hour. Start getting ready. Get in 2:30ish and hope for the best. I'm gonna ask you a really, really personal question.
Okay.
You don't have to answer it because we are rolling right now, but did you think like it would ever cross your mind to maybe connect your phone to this radio so we can jam on the way to the blind? Like, did that ever go through your head?
Night 1 here in North Dakota. Dylan and I slipped into a spot called the Slip. We're in here after 2 particular bucks, 2 different 10-pointers. One was in here this morning before light, and the other one was daylight yesterday morning and yesterday evening. We got about 45 minutes to an hour of light yet, so should be any minute if it's gonna happen.
What's up?
Gotcha.
I thought he was up there. I didn't even see you down there. I brought you a banana.
A banana? Did ya? I'll eat it. Thank you. I've had a lot of walks in North Dakota late season. I think that might have been the worst one I've ever been on. We were walking right into the wind. The wind's blowing at like 20 miles an hour, 16 degrees, and what the truck said. Holy mackerel. That was brutal.
The activity's not quite what we were thinking it would be tonight. Tomorrow's gonna be probably one of our best days, we're figuring. It's supposed to clear up. It's gonna be cold. It's our first night here. We got all week.
Day 3 here. North Dakota. It's December 14th. Mike and Brennan rolled into camp yesterday, so we got 4 of us in camp now. Last night we went back to the same spot we did as night 1. Spot we called a slip. 2 or 3 good bucks in there, 2 10s and an 8 that we're kind of gambling on. One of them's got to make a mistake one of these days. Pretty uneventful hunt last night though, we didn't see anything. Not sure what we're going to do quite yet tonight. I think we're leaning on going back there. It's game of odds. I think if we put our time in there, eventually one's going to mess up.
We're sitting in a spot we call Old Mill. We're hunting a big 10-pointer that we've got about 4 years of trail camera pictures of. This deer's given us the slip quite a bit over the last few years. We got some awesome weather tonight though. Got a great wind for hunting this spot. So we decided we're gonna give it a try tonight. There's been a pile of deer using this area. We just gotta hope he comes in tonight. He's kind of hit or miss. He'll be here one day and then he'll go usually a few days before we get him back on camera.
Tonight was a pretty action-packed sit. We've seen a lot of deer. Right at prime time though, unfortunately we had a vehicle come strolling through, slow rolling down the road, and kind of blew up our whole area. We had some other deer come back in, but the buck we were after was a no-show tonight. I got a feeling he was probably on his way, but vehicle didn't help us tonight. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board, see what's on the cell cams in the morning, and go from there. That'll do.
Just got in the blind. Decided to sit the same blind here that we sat last night. Spot we call Old Mill. We had a pretty action-packed evening yesterday. Seen a ton of deer, ton of does, fawns, a few smaller bucks. Hopefully this deer will just get up and follow some of these other ones in here. It's December 16th. A very uneventful trip so far in terms of deer. We've gotten skunked the last 3 nights, not a single deer, which is very uncharacteristic of North Dakota. But a lot of it has to do with the rather mild weather conditions. It's just not cold like we wanted. We're back in the spot where we sat last night. One buck in particular we call Sid. Old deer. Doesn't score very high, which whatever, I need some meat anyway. But it's probably been one of the more consistent deer at our spots here in this trip, so it's been a long year. I haven't shot a deer with a bow this year in any state, not even a doe. tagged out in North Dakota, day 5. It has been one of the slowest trips I've ever had out here. We've sat, like I said, this is night 5. We've seen one damn deer. This is number 2 on the trip. Dylan and I got it done tonight. We're running a lot of spots out here this year. We got a lot of good bucks on camera, but we just have not gotten the weather we need. It's been one of the toughest hunts out here for Dylan and I, I'd say. I mean, this is our 5th sit tonight, and this is the 2nd deer we've saw in 5 days of hunting. And it just happened to be one of our shooters. This doesn't get old, does it, buddy?
We're back at it here this afternoon in the blind. Sitting in the spot we call Old Mill. Back in here is our third den sitting in the spot this trip. We're after a big old buck we call Dude Perfect. Still haven't got our eyes on him yet. He's actually been, I think the last time we got a picture of him was about 3 days ago, which is pretty common. We'll get this deer on camera. Pretty steady one day in a 24-hour period, and then he kind of will disappear for a few days and then he shows back up again. So we don't have a lot of intel from him in the last few nights, but we're kind of banking on that he's due to make an appearance again here. We're in a new spot tonight, a spot that we call the Slip. There's a couple solid bucks in here that Ryan and Dylan have been hunting the last few days of their trip when they first started coming out here. They haven't had much luck here in this spot other than I think one doe, and they got skunked a few times. This buck, one of the bucks, was in here last night 20 minutes before end of shooting light, so we're gonna try and give it another shot here tonight. They've been in here, just not when we're here, so hopefully we're the lucky ones tonight and one of these bucks slip up. We're right down to the wire. And we had a doe come in. We actually seen a little buck out on the skyline here. I could hear something walking, and Brennan said, good buck behind her. And this buck came right in. I thought it was the 10-pointer we call Black Hawk actually, but it's another good 9-pointer right on camera. He came right in, hit him. I must have hit him high, I didn't even look yet. But I dropped him right in his tracks. Came out here quick, got another shot in him, but crazy. We did it, man. Can't thank everyone else enough for all the hard work that we put in out here every year. Just making it all possible. All the landowners that let us hunt their land, and the great state of North Dakota for letting us come out and shoot bucks like this. So we're gonna load them up and hit the road.
This is our last sit here in North Dakota for the year. Unger and I snuck into a spot that we call doggy style. We got in here today, blizzard last night. And we got in here kind of thinking that this would be a good spot to get out of the wind for these deer, and hoping that they move after that blizzard. But we checked the camera, and it's been pretty dead in here, so there's a few good looking bucks that were using this spot, so hopefully they're curious and want to get moving today. But this is it. If you're seeing this interview, I probably killed something, so hang in there. Just laid eyes on a shooter. Good buck, dude. Probably just gonna shoot him when he swings. Are you good? Feels good, man. That's a nice buck. This is a spot hasn't even been hunted yet. Mike and I found it when we were out here running around. But holy cow, we grinded it out. Past few days the weather just has not been good at all. Just warm, lackluster. Finally we got a blizzard last night. We had some cold temps. It's still cold today. Pressure's high. And I honestly didn't have that high hopes based on what we had on the cameras. Shit, when he was coming in, you'd think he was 20 inches wide because he was so far up in his ears. Well, he doesn't have any freaking ears.